All right, thanks for sticking around, everybody. This week's featured guest needs no introduction at this point. MLS All-Star and 73rd on the league's top scoring list this season, tied for 73rd. Timothy Parker, just back from the festivities in Washington, D.C. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. The All-Star has a nice ring to it. The 73rd goal scorer doesn't, but that's okay.
Well, listen, one more, and I think it vaults you into like 58th. So, well, let's address the elephant in the room for everybody who I know is hung up on this at the moment. I'm proud of you for earning a well-deserved All-Star selection. I'm happy for you, obviously, but at the same time, I may never forgive you for not taking the opportunity to hurt, emphasis on hurt, Arsenal's chances of finishing ahead of Spurs next season. Did it ever at least cross your mind, maybe get like a full-blooded challenge in on, Odegaard or Saka or somebody?
It's funny you say that because during warm-ups, Bradley Wright Phillips was right next to me in the booth doing the whatever play-by-play. And
Yeah.
Brad is obviously a big Arsenal guy, and he goes, Timmy, don't you touch any of my forwards. None of them.
He knew.
And then I honestly hadn't thought about like putting in a hard challenge, obviously, because it's such a friendly game. But
Yeah.
then I was almost like, should I just spite Brad and just like go through the back with someone here?
I mean, I really wish you would have. I really wish you would have. But I mean, I get it. Let's get into this All Star experience a little bit. So, first off, as I said, clearly deserving. You're the anchor of the defense on one of the best teams in the league. As I said, three goals to boot so far this season. More to come, I'm sure. But how did you first? Who told you that you made the All Star team, and how'd you hear it?
It came from the coaching staff. It was a Friday before we were going away to I think it was a road trip game. Um, and yeah, he kind of just brought it up in the meeting, kind of very low key. It was just like, yeah, we have two all stars in here, Roman and Tim. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, stoked, honored to finally get there. That was on the career goal list of mine, was to finally make it to one of those. So yeah, it was a really, really cool experience, besides Ted Uncle ruining it for me.
Exactly. I got a question or two about old Uncle Ted that we'll get to in a minute. But let's start off with just walk us through sort of the day to day. I know you flew in on Sunday, and then the game was on Tuesday. Is that right?
Yeah,
Or
the
nope,
game was Wednesday.
game was Wednesday. Okay, so just walk us through sort of the day by day. What actually they had you doing? Whether you had some free time to go off and be yourself, or you just sort of walk us through what exactly being an all star was this week.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I mean, luckily they had a lot of optional meals, so you definitely had some freedom to go out to eat if you wanted to. For me, I went out with my wife. One of my buddies lives in DC too, so I was able to get out to see him too. But all the meals were optional, so it gave you that kind of freedom. So Sunday you had to be in market. So you had to be in DC on Sunday because we were training on Monday morning. So everyone, from what I know, everyone got in on Sunday night. Sunday night, I went out to dinner with my wife and my buddy. Then Monday, there's like a players' lounge where you and your families can go down and have breakfast before we go off to training. So we went down there, had a light bite to eat. Training happens. It was nice. It was fun. It was quite the drive over through DC. I mean, driving through DC can be a nightmare sometimes.
Mhm.
And then after training, Monday, I want to say Monday, yeah, Monday is when I went to the White House.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then there's a couple appearances that you get to do, like if you're asked prior to the trip, if you'd be interested in appearances, how like kind of I guess how busy you want to be or how available you want to be. So I was like, yeah, like while I'm there, I might as well be available. Like, so I did the trip to the White House, which was really cool.
Mhm.
I think exceeded all of our expectations when El Prez came out as well.
Yeah. Did you,
Uh,
did you
I
sniff
can't
your hair?
What's that?
Please sniff your hair.
No, I don't know. I mean, he was interesting to say the least, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the memes do it justice to say this. Um, but yeah, I mean, that was really cool. I mean, being in the White House, whenever I've been there before when I was a little younger, that it's always a really cool experience to get to see that and all the history that's there and all the history DC has. And then when he came out, things got pretty serious. There was like security guard, like, Secret Service started showing up. And I just kept whispering to, like, I think I was staying next to Ryan Hollingshead. I was like, I just want to know the secrets that guy knows. And it was like his head Secret Service guy.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want one story from that guy, just one story.
Did
But
you say it loud enough that he heard you?
well, I kind of just kept looking at him and like awkwardly, like smile, like half smile, like, come on, like, tell me
Give me,
something
give me,
here.
give me a little something.
Give me something. Like, show me your gun, maybe. Just like pull your coat back a little bit. Show me your gun.
He
But
gave you nothing.
uh, the camp, I mean, the camp was awesome. The kids were great. So that all went smoothly. And then actually it was quite a long event. And then from there I went to uh the MLSPA hosts like drinks and uh like snacks or whatever you want to call it, appetizers at a rooftop, like right next to where the White House is as well.
Nice.
So it was really nice, the MLSPA doing that. And then it was a cool event because there's a bunch of players from DC, not from DC, but then a lot of older guys from around the league that I've gotten to know, or people from around the league too. Like there's some other GMs and old coaches that all showed up that were ex-players. So it was pretty cool. And then Tuesday, a little run around. Tuesday was the training at the National Mall that Wayne Rooney definitely wasn't happy about.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, I don't blame him for it. It was very much more of a photo op than it was a training session for us and for him.
yeah.
And then Tuesday was actually pretty low key. We had a that was the skills challenge day too, which, man, it just needs to get sped up. That thing is
Just
in slow motion for
yeah,
us.
yeah.
I mean, first, I'm happy I'm not involved in it. Didn't want to be at anyway. So if they asked me, I would have said no, just to clarify that. Um, but yeah, glad I wasn't involved because I was sitting on the side and I was like, this is just taking forever. I mean,
Yeah.
while we have to go there and none of the Arsenal guys go.
Yeah.
So we were just like a full bench of guys watching and supporting, which is no problem. But then we look to our right and there's no Arsenal players there. And we're like, oh, so we're the only ones here, huh?
Oh, I mean, that I get why they do it, but yeah, it seems like it just was dragging on a little long on that one.
Yeah.
Was it still kind of fun though? Was it fun to see sort of some of the different things?
It's fun, but like we weren't, I don't know if we were allowed on field or if we weren't allowed on field, but they had us sitting on the bench. So like the best way for you to watch it was to look up at the screen at the stadium.
Jesus.
So like it was cool for like some of the some of the events,
Yeah.
but then like you're looking up at the screen in the stadium. So it's like, why can't we just be like on the field?
Right. I mean, you're players. You should be sort of
Yeah,
have all access, passes or
exactly.
something. Plus, wouldn't they kind of want you sort of on the field and then sort of then you have the like the home run derby in MLB when all the guys interact with each other and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
that's what I thought. I mean, I will say goalie wars is epic.
Yeah, that was good.
And those guys were the kid that came in second place. I think he's the goalie from Austin, was fuming when he lost. I mean, he came over to our bench and like started complaining. I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, complain to Gallagher. Like, he's your teammate. Don't complain to me.
Was it? What did they win? Was he basically did he lose out on like a significant check or
He
was he
got like
just?
a belt. The guy that won got a belt.
I thought
And
it
I mean,
was
he was pretty.
cachet.
His interview was pretty electric as well. Like,
Yeah.
goalie wars is back, and I got the belt. We're back, baby. Started screaming.
Listen, they don't get much, so you give them a little bit of recognition, and they got to run with it. So I can respect
Yeah.
that. Which of the all stars did perhaps not really know going in, but you got to know a lot better over the course of the week?
Um, I got to know Aiden Morris pretty well. Um, just because we kind of crossed paths a lot, and then we were sitting next to each other in the locker room too. A couple of meals we sat together, so I got to know him a little bit better as a guy. Which was a cool one because we don't really get to play a lot of Eastern Conference teams. So I don't even think we play Columbus this year apart from our Leagues Cup match. So getting the opportunity to know him was pretty cool.
What'd you think?
Good kid. He's a good kid. He's young. I mean, he's a good player as well. I think it's so tough to say, but like we didn't really play a whole lot together, but I like the way he played. He had some confidence, and it shows when he plays with Columbus too.
Yeah. What was Rooney's pregame speech like? What did he say?
I don't think he gave one. I think he kind of was just like, go out there, don't be afraid to take risks, have fun, but it wasn't anything too crazy.
Now, did you cross paths with Arsenal? So you mentioned that they were at the skills challenge, but then they bounced. Did you actually sort of cross paths with the Arsenal or Arsenal players over the course of the week, or was it just like you showed up at the game for the most part, and that's basically all you did with them?
Yeah, it was more or less we just showed up at the game and played against them because I don't think they weren't staying at our hotel, and unless other guys had crossed paths them in other appearances and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But from my experience, we didn't cross paths otherwise.
So what did you think of the game itself?
Um, I mean, I think Arsenal has a lot of quality. I think that's to say the least. Um, I do think that us being down, I mean, the first goal that Gabriel Jesus scored, he swears he meant to shoot it.
Yeah.
So that's a little surprising. I didn't think he did, but then the second goal, and like a lot of transition goals, and I feel like that's kind of what you go into this kind of all-star game with is like, you're like, okay, we have 10 number 10s, so it's probably going to be the 4 defenders versus whatever Arsenal is running at us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of how I felt too.
Yeah. Um, Now, did anybody on Arsenal stand out and sort of like, wow, that dude's special?
Um, who was it? I mean, Saka was given a lot that first half. He had a lot of freedom on the ball. And then Odegaard, I mean, he's just special in general. He finds really good pockets of space. But I liked the Belgian guy as well.
Timber?
No, 19. He ended up scoring against us.
Who it
For
is? I should. I'm
something
in.
with
I'm
an
in mid.
F.
I'm in midsummer form with my knowledge
Uh,
here. I-
it was Trossard, Leandro Trossard. He was very good.
yeah, yeah,
Just like clean movements, like clean touches. Then obviously he scored a good goal, but
yeah,
I thought just apart from that, he was really good.
yeah. He was. He. I remember him being Saka being on the ball quite a bit, and Trossard being on the ball quite a bit. They're both good. Now, Ted Uncle, did you like stuff him in a locker in high school at some point, or like what's this? Why does he hate you?
I don't know what I did to this guy. Like he ruined my entire All-Star experience just by 8 seconds of him being involved.
Yeah, yeah, that was so
No,
crazy.
he didn't ruin it, but I mean, after looking back at it, there's nothing I could do differently to change it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was just lunging and my arm was in a natural spot, and the ball does hit my hand, so it is what it is. Do I think he has to call a penalty? No. I think if it goes to VAR and he didn't call it, it would have probably gone the same way, like natural.
Yeah,
Uh, but I mean, he was giving out yellow cards. He was going to VAR. I mean, this guy was just loving the TV time, I guess.
Yeah, it was a big time ref show out there.
Yeah.
He got his minutes of
I
TV
can't wait
time.
to see him again in MLS because I'm going to give him stick for it 100%.
I'm sure that won't come back to bite you at all either.
Yeah.
Did you give Wayne Rooney a high five after he basically shit on the refereeing in the post game press conference?
I had a conversation with him afterwards, and I was like, that was pretty bad, huh? But he was saying it the whole first half too. He's like, I mean, these are MLS refs just giving every benefit to Arsenal.
Yeah,
Maybe Ted Claus is an Arsenal fan, just doesn't want to say it, but maybe that's the case.
I believe it. I'll run with it. I'm on board with
He
believing
looks
it.
like an Arsenal fan now that I see it. He
He
kind of
does.
looks like.
He does. He looks like a guy that would go to an Arsenal game in a full kit wanker, Arsenal gear, head to toe. That I can see Ted
Yeah,
doing that. Oh, Ted. Let's see. I guess that's it. That's about it. After the game, what'd you guys do? Did you exchange shirts with anybody? Did you shake hands and just sort of head out?
yeah, just kind of shook hands with a bunch of guys. That was pretty cool. So shook hands with a bunch of guys. Then they allowed our families to come on the field, which I thought was a nice touch for MLS because that was pretty cool. Like family and friends could come down. So we got a bunch of pictures. And then in the locker room afterwards, we get 2 jerseys for every game, right? So a lot of us were getting our one jersey signed by everyone in the locker room that was involved for the week. And then you keep the other one, and well, the other one was all sweaty, so that one was unsignable. But some guys might have exchanged, but I did the whole signing one, and then I'll keep the other one day and hopefully hang them up.
Nice. Two rapid fire questions, and then I'll let you go. Our weekly what if episode, or weekly what if question for this episode is going to be, what all-star game format you would choose if it was up to you. So, East versus West, MLS versus League MX, MLS versus, a European club like we just saw here. What would be sort of, if you were the maestro pulling the strings and you had unilateral decision making power, what would you do?
Yeah, I think I would want to turn it into an East versus West game sooner rather than later, because then I also think it gets more guys involved from the league, and I think it's not a cooler experience, but it just gets more guys involved, which I think would just be awesome.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm with you. I mean, I feel like the league, I understand why they used to do it with European clubs and everything, and I really kind of did like the MLS versus League MX thing. But now you got Leagues Cup and you got other sort of ways for the leagues to go head to head on each other. So I'm 100% on board with East versus West. I think the league has reached a point where they've got enough personalities and they get enough storylines, and it's evolved to the point where East versus West makes sense to me. So I'm on board with you there. Last question. What did the guys in the locker room say about Havertz going completely 0-4 in the cross and volley challenge during the skills competition?
Um, there wasn't a lot said in the locker room afterwards. I obviously congratulated Berkey because I thought that was awesome. And I don't know if Berkey and him had crossed paths at some point in time, but Berkey definitely knew him beforehand. And we were saying it on the bench, like, I mean, I just feel like that's really hard to do. And then Buanga stepped up and just absolutely crushed it. So we were like, oh, it was really weird. It was really weird. But then, of course, banged him all during the game, so that was all that mattered.
Right. That basically, washes away all the, but it's still like zero. You got zero
Yeah.
in in the cross and volley challenge. That was wild. Which, was great for, um social media and memes and everything.
Oh yeah.
People are just going
100%.
absolutely balls to the wall on that. All right, that's all we got. Congratulations, man. I really am happy for you. Well deserved, and obviously keep going. And when you guys win MLS Cup, I just want at least give me a FaceTime from the gentlemen's club where you bring the
You can come to
trophy.
the parade. We'll get you in.
Yes. Okay.
We'll get you a media credential.
I'm holding you to that. I'm holding you to that. I want all access though. I got to be able to,
Oh yeah.
drink some champagne with you. No, awesome. Appreciate it. Congrats again, and best of luck the rest of the season. Although you'll be back on at some point. So
Always, man. Thank you.
cheers, brother.